Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack some incredible source material covering a deeply fascinating, highly isolated community. We're traveling high up into the remote Hindu Kush mountains of Pakistan to explore the Kalash people. They're this vibrant society whose unique customs and traditions have astonishingly survived pretty much untouched by the rush of our modern world.
Okay, so let's dive right into this enigma by looking at a society that completely defies the expectations of the region around them. You're going to see a community that celebrates the essence of freedom, bodily autonomy, and this deep, harmonious relationship with nature in ways that might genuinely surprise you. The source highlights a stark geographic and physical anomaly right off the bat. The Kalash people are frequently noted for having fair skin, light eyes, and really delicate facial structures, and these traits stand out in incredibly stark contrast to the typical physical features you'd normally find in the surrounding Asian regions of Pakistan. And, this physical contrast ties perfectly into some of their most famous lore. According to local legend, after Alexander the Great's conquest of the region around 320 BC, some of his soldiers actually chose to settle right here in these remote valleys. While researchers and historians still debate whether this genetic legacy is truly from those ancient Greek soldiers or just the result of centuries of isolated development, it definitely adds a massive layer of allure to their whole identity. Section 1. Love and Autonomy. Defying Regional Norms. Let's see how this physical isolation actually builds into some incredibly progressive social structures, specifically when it comes to relationships and personal freedom.
Now, here is a really fascinating expectation flip. In a lot of the surrounding areas, marital relationships are frequently bound by strict patriarchal norms and familial arrangements. But for the Kalash, love is seen as a deeply personal, freely expressed emotion. They prioritize mutual respect and immense personal freedom, culturally encouraging women to openly pursue romantic interests, even if they're already married.
The sources describe a practice known as aling, which is basically marriage by elopement. It completely bypasses arranged marriages, allowing young people to choose their partners purely based on mutual affection and understanding on their own terms. It's totally free from prior familial approval or outside societal pressures.
So how is this autonomy actually safeguarded in practice? Well, first, the couple elopes privately. Then, it's the groom's family who takes on the responsibility of informing the bride's family. Finally, and this is absolutely crucial, the bride's family must ultimately verify that her consent was given willingly. It's a whole system built entirely around legitimizing the union through verified mutual consent.
This fluidity really reaches its peak during the annual Joy Festival, which is this vibrant community celebration of life, love, and dance. During this festival, fluid relationships are totally normalized. If a woman decides to leave her husband for a new partner, the transition is handled with the utmost respect. The new partner formally compensates the former husband, typically with livestock. Now, to outsiders, that might seem shocking, but for the Kalash, it's an essential way to maintain community harmony and honor individual choices.
Another huge part of this autonomy is a tradition called bashali. This is a designated, simple structure set away from the main village for women during menstruation or pregnancy. Now, let's be clear, this is absolutely not a punishment or some mark of discrimination. Instead, it's an honorable retreat where women are provided with food and necessities by their families without direct physical contact. It underscores their incredibly progressive view on bodily autonomy, treating these natural cycles as a time for spiritual cleansing and reflection.
Section 2. Sacred Nature and Spirits. Our explainer now turns to their deep spiritual connections, which ground these progressive, autonomous ideals in a really profound reverence for the earth.
Here we see another massive cultural contrast within the country's borders. While Pakistan's national Islamic law strictly prohibits alcohol, the Kalash maintain a long-standing, vibrant tradition of communal winemaking. For them, wine is a sacred offering. It's a symbol of joy used to honor their gods and give thanks for the bounty of life during their festivals.
You see, the Kalash practice a polytheistic, animistic religion where literally every element of nature, the mountains, rivers, forests, has a spirit. For instance, take their mythology about the white crow. Legend says divine intervention transformed an ordinary black crow into this pure white creature, establishing it as a holy messenger that physically bridges the gap between the people and the divine.
During the kayak ceremony, which marks the end of the winter solstice, this mythology comes to life. The community gathers to sing songs and offer prayers, relying heavily on the white crow to ensure the gods hear their voices. It's just a beautiful reflection of an animistic worldview, where human prosperity is directly tied to the natural animal world. The source also outlines a pretty grueling rite of passage for the youth. Young men are actually sent into the mountains to live in total isolation. They have to herd goats, surviving out there solely on a diet of goat milk and meat. This seclusion is designed to build the endurance, patience, and self-sufficiency they need to survive in their harsh environment. Only after they successfully complete this can they return and fully participate in the major cultural events, like the Chamos Festival.
And speaking of the Grand Chamos Festival, it features the mystical Mandikal ceremony. During this ritual, the boundary between the living and departed really blurs. Women bake walnut bread and roast pumpkins. As twilight falls, doors are shut tight. A sacred fire is lit outside as a beacon, and an elder formally invites the ghosts of their ancestors to return and share a meal. It's this enigmatic communion that keeps their ancestral legacy intimately alive.
But, as we know, not all traditions survive completely unchanged over time. The source tells us about the fading of the Budak figure during the October Bull Festival. The Budak used to be a revered herdsman granted the privilege of choosing an unmarried companion during the festivities. Today, that specific figure has vanished, and the festival has evolved into a pure celebration of the grape and walnut harvest. It's a perfect reminder of the fluid, evolving nature of cultural practices over time.
Section 3. The Unsolved Medical Mystery. Let's shift gears to a deeply unexplained phenomenon documented in the sources, one that bridges the gap between ancient folklore and modern medical science.
Okay, so let's dive into this chilling anomaly known locally as the day and night disease. It first gained widespread attention when it afflicted 3 brothers in the specific village of Miankundi, leaving experts globally completely baffled. The bizarre daily cycle of these afflicted children is just highly unusual. In the morning and afternoon, they're just as energetic and playful as any normal kid. But as evening approaches, they experience this sudden immobility. By nightfall, they're completely paralyzed, unable to speak, eat, or even open their eyes. It's as if their bodies inexplicably shut down entirely as the light fades. Now, you might immediately think, oh, it's a sunlight deficiency, right? But investigators quickly realized the children could still move normally in totally dark rooms during the daytime. The paralysis is tied to the actual time of day, not the literal light. Despite extensive global study by medical experts, the true cause remains entirely unknown. Theories are split between a yet-to-be-discovered genetic basis and deeply rooted psychosomatic cultural triggers, leaving the kalash shrouded in a truly otherworldly enigma.
Section 4. Lessons from the Hidden Valley. As we start wrapping up this explainer, let's reflect on the profound, foundational warmth that ultimately defines the Kalash people and keeps visitors returning to their valleys.
Unlike the hurried, honestly pretty impersonal greetings we are so used to, Kalash young girls greet one another by gently kissing each other's hands. This simple, affectionate gesture totally transcends language barriers. It's extended to peers, respected elders, and even foreign visitors. It creates this incredibly powerful sense of community and genuine hospitality that immediately makes strangers feel valued and right at home.
I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. We've explored a society that fiercely protects personal autonomy, reveres the natural cycles of the earth, and prioritizes deep, authentic human connection. As we navigate our own highly digital, fast-paced lives, what might we gain from embracing just a fraction of the warmth and natural harmony practiced by the enigmatic Kalash people? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it sparked your curiosity to learn even more about the incredible diversity of human culture.